We are live at Raven Street Dance Studio via NewTown, North Dakota, and we are with Ryan. What is your last name, Ryan?
Wilson.
And where are you from, Ryan?
Pine Ridge, South Dakota.
And so how is it that you have this amazing Native American store here in NewTown? You live here, of course?
Yeah, I've lived here 14 years now, and my children are from here. Their mom's a Rickeraw on the White Shield side of the reservation, and my daughters are in school here, and they're respectively 13 and 11 years old, and I've decided to make this my residence, to be close to them.
That's awesome. This store is one of the best that we've come by in the nation, hands down. Oh my, you have to stop here. We're on the main street in NewTown, and the name of the store is Great Plains
Indian Trading.
Are you online?
No, we're not online. We do have a Facebook, and the important thing about the store is that it's 100% Indian owned.
Yes.
But not a tribe, an individual Indian family, an
That's
American
right.
Indian family, and just a small little core, that created this opportunity, here, not only for our family, but for the whole reservation and the Northern Plains to enjoy this store.
The store is breathtaking. We came here before, but now it's in a new location. Same on the main street of NewTown, but I wanted to I was talking with him, and I asked him, can I record him? So he's going to tell us now about a different endeavor that he is trying to see come to reality. And it's regarding our peyote and our Native American religious practices. And so I'm going to let Ryan talk a little bit more about that and how you can support from home.
Yeah, thank you for that opportunity. We're on the cusp of the 30th anniversary of the American Indian Religious Freedom Act and the amendments that were made in 1994, which were to legalize federally, nationally, the use by American Indians of peyote and our religious ceremonies that surround peyote in the Native American Church. I am volunteering with the Native American Church of North America under the leadership of John Brady, who's the president, to have an advocacy agenda that really focuses on a strengthened federal policy to conserve the peyote habitat in America. And it only grows in a couple counties in southwest Texas along the Rio Grande. And that habitat's under pressure from development, oil pads, wind pads, roads, urban sprawl, game farms, and a lot of other interests, including the federal government soil conservation, which actually invests in subsidies to pay farmers and ranchers to plow peyote land under the guise of converting the land to another top crop under soil conservation.
So they're saying it's progressive farming, but then it's taking away from our traditional healing.
Absolutely, and it's actually illegal under the laws of this country.
So they're doing it illegally?
Yeah, I believe that. So, and it's just a matter of bringing this to the federal government's attention and having them be cognizant that their investments in destroying sacred places, their investments in destroying this medicine,
right,
are incongruent and antithetical towards the American Indian Religious Freedom Act. So it's a policy incongruence, and what we're trying to do is provide the ranchers and farmers with a heightened investment for preserving their land, not tilling it, not root plowing it. And that's what we're working on through the Farm Bill that's being reauthorized, but also through conservation programs in the Department of Interior. And this is a massive lift. We need everybody helping on board.
So how do we help? Like, do we sign the petitions? Do we write into our congressman?
I appreciate that. If you go to our Facebook, it's Native American Church North America Facebook.
Okay.
There's a lot of outlines there that kind of give you the idea on what we're doing. And you're right, ultimately, our congressmen need to be involved. The President of the United States and his administration needs to be involved as well. And we're having a legislative summit in Washington, D.C, September 19th, 20th, and 21st. All of you are welcome to come. There's no registration fee. We're going to be meeting at the National Indian Gaming Association on the 19th
in DC.
In DC, and then taking to the Hill the next 2 days after that. So
that's...
we've made, in the short 2 years of the Brady administration, we've made phenomenal progress in this, but we have a long ways to go yet.
Right.
I would say we're in the first inning.
Right. So tell me this, can a private farmer, let's say they own land right beside the Peyote Gardens. Peyote Gardens are protected, that's separate.
They're not protected. It's all on private land.
So
And
the
that's
gardens that they go to is owned by a private person?
100%.
What?
So they could literally destroy every last wild peyote medicine in the country here in America tomorrow, and they would be within their rights as private landowners to do that.
So how many farms is only one that you can go to?
No, the peyoteros who are licensed through the DEA,
Okay.
they lease surface harvesting rights from the private landowners, and then they hire harvesters that cut the peyote and
So they make money.
they make money.
So why wouldn't a private farmer look at, if they're looking at it money wise, why wouldn't they solicit their land for peyote cultivation? Or can they do that?
They can, and what we're not for cultivation, but for the wild and its wild natural habitat.
Right, okay.
So what we're trying to do is heighten their opportunities financially,
Right.
and incentivize the preservation of this habitat.
Right.
That's our whole point. What we're
Right, because
trying to do.
I mean, bottom line, they're landowners, they're farmers, and so you have to look at it from a financial standpoint. And that's so interesting. I did not know that.
And there's multi-purpose use of this land. So there's a new advent now that in Indian country barely anyone knows about it, but the super rich have found a new playground down there. These massive game farms that are fenced off, and
Right.
exotic game,
I've seen
trophy
that.
mule deer. Yeah, I mean this is. You just turn on cable TV, the hunting shows at 2 or 3
A lot of
in the
them are out
morning,
of Texas.
You'll see that, yeah. So the idea is if they can be paid twice if we do this properly. So the peyoteros would lease harvesting rights from them. The federal government would provide conservation easement investments
Okay.
to maintain the natural habitat. And that hopefully would be enough incentive for enough farmers and ranchers with multi-purpose use of the land. They could still graze, they
Right.
could still have different activities going on, but not to destroy the wild peyote groves that are down there.
Have you been there?
Yeah.
What is it like?
It's an austere beauty, and you don't really understand it until you're there, and you could read it in books and see it in documentaries. But when
So
you're
it's right on the Rio Grande.
Yeah, along there, just north of the Rio Grande on the American side.
So
But
tell me this. Do you think that it grows there particularly because, I don't know if you're familiar with the condor and eagle prophecy, but it's where they say that the eagle medicine is from the north, and that the condor is the medicine to the south. And when the two of them meet, then we will be able to continue into the future as indigenous people, maintaining our sacred ways. So it says when they meet. So do you think that maybe that has something to do with why on the Rio Grande, where the south and the north meet, that this particular amazing healing plant grows?
I think to go back to it, it was those tribes that gave us this medicine.
Right.
And they're the founders. They're who Creator gave it to
Right.
first. And then it was shared with us. In America, however, there's this whole body of law and the American Indian Religious Freedom Act, which is what we're celebrating, this 30-year anniversary. But without those tribes initiating this,
Right.
And on the Mexican side of the border, those tribes still have purview over this medicine and all of that. But you're correct. So you're talking really interesting because it's spiritual laws,
Right.
which is, and then there's
That supersede.
yeah, and then we have federal statutes.
Right.
The instrumentalities of the federal government don't always have to be something bad towards us.
Right.
We can use them for good too.
Right.
But we have to craft it. We have to come up with the
We have
legislation.
to read it and learn it.
Yeah, and we have to get them to enforce their own laws.
Right.
Which, as a policy declaration, the American Indian Religious Freedom Act mandates that the United States, as a matter of policy, will protect, promote, and defend American Indian religions.
And not just religion, the herbs that help us.
It's all part of it. You can't have...
That's awesome.
They're inextricably linked, so you can't have one without the other. And what we're saying is it's part of your trust responsibility to maintain this medicine and viability,
Right.
and solvency for future generations. And
So it's taken us 30 years to learn the language. That's why it's so important for us to have lawyers and to learn not to just to That's a big part of conservation, is learning how to not turn it on them, but to enforce it.
Yes.
Because so many times it's written between the lines. It's right there, but we just didn't know the language.
Yes, and what the congressional intent was.
Right, right.
And what other religious freedom statutes for the rest of the country too. How do those apply to
Right.
us as well? So this is interesting because it's a finite resource,
Right.
an entire ceremony and religion that 300,000 American Indians belong to. It's the only
Wow.
intertribal religion. It's the only one, and it's wholly contingent. It's wholly dependent on this sacrament, this holy medicine that grows in this small little dot on
It's
the
so
American
beautiful.
map. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I saw recently this Netflix 4-part documentary about healing your mind.
Yeah.
And our good friend Julius Not Afraid was a part of the Peyote
Yeah.
episode, and I cried. It was so moving to see how so many times we look to outside forces to heal us, but then we've been provided with these things, and that for so many years, whatever it was, outside entities, the government, or healthcare has played a role in suppressing that. We're in a day and age where now you have the opportunity to find out on your own and to have a thought on your own, to heal yourself the way that God intended. That's how I say. So we need to go on this web. Say it again on Facebook. What's your?
It's the Native American Church of North America.
Is
Facebook.
it a group that you have to ask to join, or is it just open?
It's open.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then once we go on there, then we search for, or just scroll through.
You can scroll through there and you'll see our briefing papers. You'll see Congressional Testimony.
Okay.
You'll see the framework for what we're trying to do legislatively. And you'll see a bunch of other stuff.
I would love to meet the lawyer who cracked the code on that one. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That whoever you are, kudos, and be there in D.C. September 19th.
20th and 21st.
And March.
And here's the thing, my dear. There's no lawyer that cracked the code. It's grassroots Indian people that
Grassroots.
that just figured out what we really need to do.
They've done so much work.
Yeah.
Do they have a separate page from you guys?
No, it's just
it's
us.
all together?
It is us. It's internally. So,
Okay, I see.
So we write our own briefing papers. And what we've done is looked at other federal conservation programs like Land Water Conservation Fund, the Farm Bill Conservation. We've looked at the different existing legislative vehicles that are benefiting almost all non-Indians.
Right.
99.9%. Just like faith-based organizations.
Right.
Less than 0.1% goes to American Indian faith-based federal funding and all of that. So what we've looked at is these other statutory and legislative vehicles, and how can we include what our objective in preserving this land within those existing legislative vehicles,
right?
And how to do that. So that's what we've really focused on.
That's so awesome. Well, you guys heard it first from Ryan Wilson. Come to his store, check out the Facebook page. I'm so excited to interview more people just like himself that are not just talking about change, but making change.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.